Okay, video lesson about working with positive and negative numbers. Pos and neg being used just for short there. If we're adding two numbers, if you imagine a vertical number line. So number lines are often drawn that way, but to help us understand positive and negative numbers and adding and subtracting them, it's going to be helpful to imagine a vertical number line running like this. If you're at a certain point on the number line, adding will usually move you up and subtracting will usually move you down. However, although adding will usually move you up, if you're adding a negative number, you'll go down, you'll do the opposite. Now, although subtracting will usually move you down, if you're subtracting a negative, you'll actually go up, surprisingly. So, example, to make this a bit clearer. So, imagine on a vertical number line, sort of in thin air there. If we're at 7 on the number line and we're adding 5, adding usually moves you up, and that's what will happen here. 7 add 5 will take you up to 12. The answer there will be 12. The second one here is 7. You're starting at 7. You're adding negative 5. Adding would normally move you up, but because of that, you actually move down. So you'll go down 7, go down 5, take you down to 2. This one here, 7, you're starting at 7, subtract 5, a normal subtract, 7 subtract 5 is 2. This one here, you're starting at 7, and you're subtracting, which would normally move you down, but because of that, you don't go down, you go up. So 7 add 5 is 12. The result there is 12. This one here, you're starting down at negative 7 this time. Down at negative 7, you're adding 5. A normal add, so you come up 5, will take you up to negative 2. This one here, you're starting at negative 7. Adding would normally take you up, but because of that, you don't go up, you go down. So you're starting at negative 7, you go down 5, will take you down to negative 12. This one here, you're starting at negative 7, down here. You're subtracting a normal subtract, so you will go down. Negative 7, subtract 5, takes you right down to negative 12. The last one looks pretty awkward. You're starting at negative 7. Subtracting would normally take you down, but because of that, because you're subtracting a negative, because of that, you actually go up. So you're starting at negative 7 and you go up 5, takes you up to negative 2. These would be the same idea, although they're made a little bit harder. It's exactly the same idea. Now, multiplying. So to help you understand multiplying, I'm going to kind of just read these out and see if that helps them to make sense to you. So 3 lots of 4 is 12. Then we have 3 lots of negative 4. So 3 lots of negative 4. So like negative 4, negative 4, and negative 4. Together they make negative 12. The result there is negative 12. Here, I'm going to read it to you in reverse order. Multiplying doesn't care about order. So I'm going to, for ease of understanding it, going to read it in reverse order. 4 lots of negative 3. 4 lots of negative 3. Negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 3. Together they're negative 12. So far we got ordinary 12, negative 12, negative 12. Now this one, here we are repeatedly subtracting a negative. So we are subtracting a negative. When you subtract a negative, you actually go up. So what happens with the result with this one is actually 12, an ordinary positive 12, because you're subtracting a negative, you don't go down, you go up. It's ordinary positive 12. So those are the 4 results there. Very important that you can remember those. These, for example, 7 times 9 is 63, but a negative times a negative times a negative is a positive. So the 7 times 9 will be 63, ordinary 63. This one here, 9 times 4 is 36, but a negative times a negative is a positive result. So the result there is positive 36. Here, 6 sevens are 42. If you do a negative times a positive times a positive is a negative result. So the result there is negative 42. Right, squaring. Squaring is when you take a number and you multiply it by itself. So we know therefore that 3 times itself is 9, so 3 squared is 9. Right, what happens, however, if you multiply negative 3 times negative 3, a negative times by a negative is a positive result. So what we're going to get here is negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So if we take negative 3 and we square it, we get positive 9. So we have kind of perhaps a surprising result that we get the same answer. 3 squared is 9, but also negative 3 squared is 9. The same result. Cubing is a slightly different thing going on here. Cubing is when you take a number and you multiply it by itself by itself. So multiply it by itself by itself. 3 times 3 is 9, times by 3 again, you get 27. So 3 cubed is 27. When you take negative 3 and you cube that, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, and then positive 9 times negative 3 will be negative 27. So when you cube a negative number, the result will always be negative. So it's quite a different, this is harder to get, perhaps harder to remember and so on, but when you cube a negative number, the result is negative. That is a bit more practice, but we'll leave it there for now. Thank you.